What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about something I guess that could be controversial, or maybe not controversial. You saw it in the headline. But what I'm talking about is how I like to roll and who I like to roll with on a daily basis. As you guys can see, the headline says 80% of your rolls should be white belts, or should be with white belts. What do I mean by this? Well, I don't just mean that 80% of your rolls should be with white belts. That's kind of a hook, right? Instead, the idea is that most of your rolls should be with people that you're much better than. I say that this is important for a couple reasons. Just to start, I do love a good scrap. It's really nice to go with someone who's very tough, maybe another good wrestler, maybe a guy who's really good leg locker, like going with someone who's going to challenge you, submit you, take you down, etc., etc. This is really important. It's good for your ego, it's good for your growth, it's good for studying ideas, and good for some direction. But if you're looking to build confidence, test out techniques, and get active reps in, look no further than training with white belts or blue belts or purple belts or whatever, right? Someone who's a belt beneath you or a couple belts beneath you, someone, even if maybe you take away their belts, someone that you know that there is no scenario where if you are trying that they can beat you. These people are some of the most valuable partners in the world. I actually think, personally, I think it's more important to train with these people than it is to train with your, let's say, your competition rounds. Your competition rounds are great, but I think there can be a bit of a point in diminishing returns, both in the progress you make technically and in your health when you do these extremely tough ADCC, IBJJF-esque type of rounds with partners. The first big point is when you go with these less experienced partners, lower level partners, you get the chance to do active drilling with live resistance. So you guys hear me talk about it all the time. I think it's okay to drill a move once, twice, up to 10 times. Something. There's not like a number, right? But I think that at some point, after you've done, let's say, a double leg 10 times, it's time to start trying to use that in live. I think it's very easy to do things without resistance and to think that you're good at it because you can do it without resistance. It's just like showing a technique on Instagram, but not having the ability to actually hit that technique in a competition, although you could express the finer technical details to someone, which is also a very good skill, but I digress, that's not the point. When you're doing these, when you're doing these rolls with worse guys, less experienced guys, lower belts, it's a great opportunity to do active drilling. Let's say this double leg. I've drilled the double leg a couple times. All right, but now I'm gonna go with my partner. I'm not gonna tell him what I'm doing. We're gonna start on the feet, and all I'm gonna try to do is hit the double leg. A lot of different things are gonna happen. And my partner doesn't know that I'm gonna do a double leg. This is really good for me because it opens up the space for variability in his defense. Maybe he throws up a guillotine. Maybe he rolls into a leg lock. Maybe he sprawls. Maybe he gets a whizzer. Maybe he gets a shin whizzer. Maybe he goes to Kimura. I don't know. And this is really important because now it's giving me the opportunity to get this realistic look, this realistic feel, where I'm forced to make adjustments based on different variants or different reactions or counters that my partner throws up. This is extremely important. It's very important to not get surprised, or and the reality is you're gonna get there's an opportunity to get surprised no matter how much you know. But when you train like this, when you go with a lower level person, you can get in those spots, you can play with those reactions and you'll have wiggle room to make adjustments. Versus if you go with, let's say you're a college wrestler, you go with another college wrestler who's about your same level, it can be very difficult to open up, because if you open up, you're gonna get taken down, you're gonna get down block, go behind. Whereas maybe you go with you're wrestling with a high school wrestler, you're wrestling with someone who's in jiu-jitsu, who's just learning to wrestle. It's fun because they're still resisting, they can still sprawl, they can still throw up submissions, but your chances of success are high while also having live resistance. It's like when you bench press, okay? You could do your max for sure once. It's like when this is the same idea. If I go against a college wrestler, I know I can probably, not always, but probably take them down once. Now, let's say my max is 200 pounds, I take off a couple plates, now I'm benching 135. I know that I can do 135, let's say 15 times before I get tired or before it gets too difficult. It's the same idea when you go with a lower belt, right? Or you go with someone who's less experienced. There's still gonna be resistance. It's not like you're just holding the bar, but there's still gonna be resistance, but you know that you can get success. Now you can do progressive overload, right? I can slowly progress. Okay, I'm doing this double leg with resistance against this partner. Maybe he's not as good. Let's say 1 out of 10, this partner's a 2. Then eventually I build up and I go to the partner that's a 4. and then I'm building up to a partner who's a 6, and then I'm building up to that partner who's an 8 or 9. And then when I go to competition, now I am successful against that 10 because I progressively overloaded my skills while doing active drilling with live resistance. The second thing, let's say about going with the white belts or lower level partners, is you can put yourself in bad spots and work out of them. More specifically, we'll talk about defense now. I can let my partner take me down and allow myself to practice scrimmage wrestling or scrambling. I can let my partner put me in an armbar and look to escape. I can let my partner get a leg entanglement and work out of that because I know that they're most likely not going to be the greatest there, so I can slowly and calmly work out of bad situations. You can name any situation. It can be wrestling, it can be jiu-jitsu, it can be boxing, it can be MMA. When you're going with someone who's worse than you, you're not playing with them. You know, someone might think, oh man, you're playing with your partner. Well, that's not what it is. It's not a disrespectful thing. I've heard people say, oh, this is disrespectful. But it's not a disrespectful thing. I trust you enough, and I know because maybe there's a level of separation between us technically or physically, that I'm going to put myself in bad spots, and I'm going to try to work out of them with you. Sometimes you will get submitted, sometimes you'll get taken down, countered, etc., etc. But it doesn't matter because now I'm working out of bad spots. I'm becoming a better defensive wrestler or better defensively at jiu-jitsu, and in the long run, that helps a lot. This is, again, hard to do with people who are at your skill level or above because your chances of success to get out of those bad positions is very, very low. You want to go with someone who, again, is that warm-up weight. Eventually you'll build up to the better and better people, but I like to start with lower belts or lower experience. Last, you get to troubleshoot new techniques. This is pretty similar to the other two, kind of in a way, just a little bit more specific. If I want to do a ton of backgrounds, which I love doing backgrounds, it's really hard to do that to the guy who's, let's say, more experienced, especially to start, right? I'm not gonna have much success hand fighting, with a better guy. So I start with someone either smaller, or someone a little worse or a little less experienced. And maybe I start practicing sequences that I learned from instructionals on that person. They don't know I'm practicing those sequences. They have no clue what's going on, but I'm gonna do it regardless. You guys can add that into any situation and you'll understand what I mean. I'm not gonna go through that too much, but you understand. So the three main reasons why I think most of your training should be with people who are below your belt level or experience level is you get the active drill. You can allow yourself to put yourself in bad spots and work out of them. And on top of all of that, you can troubleshoot new techniques from instructionals, class, or whatever. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. If you guys would like to learn to wrestle, I think the best place to start is with hand fighting. Hand fighting is when I use my hands and my feet and my head to move my partner's body, to utilize push, pulls, and fakes to create reactions. When I create these reactions, guys, the takedowns become extremely easy and efficient. On top of that, when you get good at hand fighting, you can learn how to kind of exhaust your opponent. So learning how to create specific reactions and exhaust your opponent will not only make your takedowns easier, but matches in general a lot easier. If you guys want to learn how to hand fight, you guys can click the link above and check out my original instructional, which has over 900 members currently, called Dominate the Hand Fight, How to Command Your Way to Takedowns. If you guys are also interested in getting my weekly classes from my Patreon, you can click the links below in the description or the link that pops up above to join my Patreon for free for 7 days, where you'll get seminar footage, rolling footage, Q&As, weekly class footage, and more, all from me. After your 7-day free trial is over, you can opt out at any point, or you can stick with it, and I believe it's $12 US. Thank you guys for supporting me. It means the world. I couldn't do this without you. Talk to you later.